My name is Karen Karimi and this is Friday right here on TV47, the home of Untold Stories. Welcome to the program this 22nd day of July. My guest tonight is a certified life and relationship coach and radio host. I'm sure most of you have heard her on radio and seen her on different television channels. Her name is Chasmin Bank. Welcome to Friday, Chasmin.
Thank you. I'm so excited and happy to be here.
Now, you left a real estate salesperson job to full-time relationship coach. Was this a calling?
120%. I would say I'm currently living my purpose. It came from the need to wanting to fix my own life and wanting to find where I stood in my own relationship. And then when I was able to do that, I realized I can do this. I can help so many more people, and so many more people were like, how did you go from feeling so lost to getting so found? So I'm definitely where I want to be, and connecting with people every single day and helping them. It's my joy.
Mm-hmm. And does everyone need a life coach, in your opinion?
I would say a life coach is something really powerful because we're able to have a bird's eye view on your life. And it's just kind of like, when you play basketball or you play golf or you have any sort of sport, you always have a coach that is a couple of steps ahead of you, and they can see things from a different angle to always tweak you 2 millimeters and keep you in line and be kind of like your accountability coach. But I say you can always learn to be your own coach, and that's the goal, because as a coach, we don't want you dependent on us. We want to give you skills so you can go out in life and make it on your own.
Amazing. You don't want to miss this discussion later on in the broadcast. Any relationship questions you have for Chasmin Bank, do tweet us on @TV47KE and Facebook @TV47Kenya. My Twitter handle is @Karimi_Karen. But first, the headlines.
Tonight.
For the first, second, third, and fifth accused, I'm satisfied the prosecution has proved the case against them beyond any reasonable doubt, and therefore I found them guilty of the 3 counts of murder.
3 police officers and their informant found guilty following the murder of lawyer Willie Kimani. Also tonight.
For the grade 6 learners to do their selection for junior secondary school in readiness for placement.
Magoha unveils junior secondary school placement guidelines.
Kenya National Examination Council will open a portal.
Selection kicks off on 15th August. Plus,
tumekubaliana na hawa viongozi, huyu Kingi hapa, huyu Mvuria hapa, huyu Owen Baya hapa, huyu Mama Aisha.
Scramble for votes as William Ruto pitches tent in Coast.
MCA, MP, Women Rep, Senator.
As Raila Odinga woos Trans Nzoia residents.
Catherine Simaloy is our sign language interpreter tonight. Welcome to Friday. Now to our top story, 3 former administration police officers and a police informant have been found guilty and convicted of 3 counts of murder, each for murdering International Justice Mission lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwendwa, and a taxi driver Joseph Mwiruri in June 2016. Now, while delivering the judgment, Justice Jesse Lasit acquitted one of the accused police officers and said the prosecution had proved beyond any reasonable doubt that the 3 planned and executed the murders of the deceased persons through the help of a police informer. Wangi Maina with more details.
You are saying the entire law society. So
After 6 years of a daunting court battle, it was the end of the road for 3 former police officers after the court found them guilty of killing slain International Justice Mission lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwendwa, and their taxi driver Joseph Mwiruri. The trio were kidnapped and brutally murdered before their bodies were plunged into River Athi in June 2016.
Left forearm. And further explained that
Justice Jesse Lasit, who has been presiding over the trial of the 5 accused persons, ruled that the 4 police officers Frederick Olele Liman, Stephen Cheburet Morogo, Sylvia Wajikwajohi, and their informer Peter Ngugi are all guilty of murder.
The first, second, third, and fifth accused, I'm satisfied the prosecution has proved the case against them beyond any reasonable doubt, and therefore I found them guilty of the 3 counts of murder, contrary to Section 203 of the Penal Code. I accordingly reject their defenses, find them guilty as charged, and convict them accordingly under Section 322 of the Criminal Procedure Code.
One of the accused persons, Leonard Mwangi Maina, was acquitted since there was not enough evidence linking him to the murders. However, the former police officer is still not yet out of the hook since he's facing another murder charge alongside the first accused person, Frederick Oleleliman.
For the fourth accused, his alibi defense has shaken the veracity of the evidence of the prosecution against him, being that of the fifth accused alone, and therefore I gave him the benefit of the doubt and acquit him of all the 3 counts of murder under Section 322 of the Criminal Procedure Code.
The court ruled that the first accused person planned the execution of Joseph Mwendwa, who had lodged a complaint against him at IPOA after he shot him and left him with life-threatening injuries. Kimani and the taxi driver were collaterals.
The first accused is the only person charged in this case who had a motive to harm the second deceased. The harm to the first and the third deceased was collateral damage just because they happened to have been there when the second deceased was kidnapped.
For the second convicted person, Peter Morogo, and the police informer Peter Ngugi, the court ruled that the principal offenders, as they participated in kidnapping the trio, concealing their taxi, detaining them, as well as ferrying them to the murder scene.
The 2 of them took an active role in the kidnapping of the deceased, concealing their missing vehicle, detaining them without disclosure, ferrying them to the murder scene and ferrying them around for each of these purposes. Now the fifth accused in his statement stated that when they drove the deceased to Soweto open field, the co-conspirators argued for 3 hours whether to kill the deceased or not before they finally took their lives. The fact that they argued, then resolved to continue with their planned intention to take life, does not reduce their actions to anything less than murder. They had a common intention within the meaning of Section 21 of the Penal Code.
For the fourth convicted person, Sylvia Wajikoajo, Justice Lesit ruled that she was on duty at Syokimau Police Station and was manning the occurrence book and was in possession of the keys to the cells, but the arrest of the 3 was not recorded in the OB. Also, the officer denied knowledge of the deceased persons in the cells and the time they were removed and taken to the murder scene. The prosecution had lined up 46 witnesses, with the defense lining up 36 witnesses, and 117 exhibits were presented before court. With the long-awaited judgment for close to 6 years being delivered today, the families of the 3 deceased persons can now find some sense of closure and begin the journey of healing, even as they await the sentencings of the 4 persons found guilty out of the 5 accused persons. Mwangi Maina, TV47 from the Milimani Law Courts, Nairobi.
Now, still on that story, the families of the late lawyer Willie Kimani, Josephat Mwenda and Joseph Mwiruri can now breathe a sigh of relief following today's verdict delivered by Lady Justice Jessie Lesit, where 4 suspects linked to their brutal murder were found guilty of the offence. Elizabeth Atieno spoke to the family members and filed this following report.
The epic journey into the corridors of justice has today come to an end for the families of the late lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwenda, and driver Joseph Mwiruri after the High Court found the 4 accused guilty of murdering the victims 6 years ago.
Na vile judgment imefanywa siku ya leo, kama family tumeshukuru sana. Ya kwanza ni kushukuru Mungu for the process tumekuwa kwa hii court. We have been here for 6 years. Pressing on for justice, and at last we have got the justice. So we are very proud of that.
Sasa hiyo uamuzi wa leo ni mzuri, lakini sio mzuri vile, sababu hata ukisema mzuri, roho yangu hajakuisha ushungu. Sababu sijaona nini mtoto yangu ndio na nienda kaniwasa nikiwa kete namna hiyo. Sisi mtamani nini?
It has been 6 years of pain, anguish and despair for the families of lawyer Kimani, Mwenda and Mwiruri, who were brutally murdered on the 23rd of June 2016 and their bodies disposed in Athi River near Oldonyo Sabuk shortly after leaving the Mavoko Law Courts.
Us getting justice today, it offers as a source of comfort to our hearts. even though it may not bring Willie Kimani back, but it will be comforting to our hearts. And also something else, at least Willie Kimani will not be included in the statistics of people who went through torture, who were abducted, tortured and killed. At least his name will not appear in that list. And even for the remaining journey, we really hope we'll still win.
Mahali tumefika, tuko na leo, at least tumepata kuamini Mungu yupo. Na ukweli umepatikana kulingana na venye jaji ameelezea. At least tumeona vile hiyo story ilianza na mahali imefika na wenye walifanya hiyo kitu.
The late lawyer Kimani was a father of 2 and a husband to 36-year-old Hannah Wanjiku Gitwira. Kimani's family is still smarting from his loss, saying the void he has left can never be filled.
When Willie passed on, it really shook them up very much, and actually they even got sick because of that. But as time went by, they've been getting used to it, although they've been really wanting this day. They've been really waiting for this day for justice and also for the people who did this to be sentenced.
Sentiments echoed by Mwiruri and Mwenda's families.
Neno tumengojea kwa muda wa siku mingi, lakini kulingana na vyenye judgment imesomwa leo, nafikiria hata mimi nitaweza kupumzika. Hiyo kitu huwa inanisumbua sana, lakini nafikiria kuna jambo linakuanga na mwanzo, linakuanga na mwisho.
Families of the deceased are hoping that the 4 accused, who are also police officers, get a harsh sentencing so as to prevent similar occurrences in future. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Now, away from that, the Ministry of Education now says the Kenya National Examination Council will open its portal for grade 6 students under the CBC from the 15th to 30th August to enable them choose junior secondary schools of their choice. Now, according to Magoha, schools with basic and key learning infrastructure will be considered for junior secondary during placement. Paul Munio with more.
In January next year, approximately 2.5 million primary school learners are expected to join secondary education in accordance with a 100% transition policy. With 1.2 million competence-based curriculum learners in grade 6 expected to transition to junior secondary schools. The grade 6 examination, which will be administered from 28th to 30th November, will assess 13 subjects using 5 papers: mathematics, English language, Kiswahili and Kenyan Sign Language, integrated science, which combine 4 subjects, creative arts and social studies, which also combine 4 subjects. This examination will contribute 40% of a learner's score. Speaking during the commissioning of the new NEC headquarters in South Sea, Nairobi, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha announced that the Kenya National Examination Council will open its portal for grade 6 learners from 15th to 30th of August to allow them choose their desired junior secondary schools to join next year.
Kenya National Examination Council will open a portal from 15th August to 30th August for the grade 6 learners to do their selection for junior secondary school in readiness for play.
This new Mitihani House has been initiated to house all the NEC activities that keeps on expanding, courtesy of the competence-based curriculum. Paul Munio, TV 47, Nairobi.
Now to matters politics, Deputy President William Ruto has accused his opponents of intimidating the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission officials. Speaking during his campaign tour of the coast region, the second-in-command vowed to safeguard the independence of government agencies if elected president. Patronila Goren has more.
With only 17 days to go to the next general election, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade pitched camp in Kilifi and Mombasa counties in a bid to woo voters. Led by the Deputy President William Ruto, the leaders have called on their opponents for what they say is intimidating the IEBC. According to Ruto, their opponents' move to intimidate them indicates that they are not prepared for elections.
Hawa majamaa kwa sababu wameona ya kwamba hawana numbers ya kushinda hii kura, wameanza story ati wametisha watu wa IEBC, wameshika watu wa IEBC jana, wale wanapanga mambo ya teknolojia, kwa sababu wao wanataka kuturudisha kwa manual register ndio waende huko wakoroge mambo. Wachaneni na IEBC na Chebukati wafanye kazi yake. We want free and fair elections.
At the same time, Ruto has promised that if elected, his government will address the unemployment issue in the country, as well as the historical land injustices in the coast region.
Sisi tutahakikisha tumeirudisha bandari, tumerudisha huduma za bandari, na nyinyi mutalipa maafa yote ya watu wa Mombasa katika masuala ya kiuchumi na masuala ya kiutalii.
Wakati tunapigia William Samoei Ruto, pwani nzima tumekubaliana yale mashamba ya mabwenyenye yanunuliwe na serikali na wananchi wapewe title deed.
However, leaders who accompanied the DP have criticized their opponents for lack of ideologies to run the country.
Hiyo serikali yenu ni serikali ya ndoto. Serikali kamili inakuja na jeshi ya nchi kavu ikiongozwa na William Samoei Ruto.
Tunataka kumwambia Raila Odinga, pwani show bedroom yako ndugu yangu, pwani na wenyewe.
In Kirinyaga County, Ruto's running mate Rigathi Gachagua led the Kenya Kwanza campaigns where he allegedly claimed that a section of state officers were using state resources in running Azimio campaigns.
Na nimwambie Karaja Kebicho, wewe bwana, wewe umekula pesa ya polisi, na wewe ujitayarishe. Mkitoka Kasarani mfuatane na Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru aingia Kenyatta Road na wewe ukuje mpaka Gavio, uende mpaka Hawaii.
Harambee!
The Kenya Kwanza 3-day tour of the coastal region has finally come to an end, with the Deputy President William Ruto and his brigade calling on the coastal voters to vote him in as the 5th president, as he has the best solutions to addressing their issues. Patronila Goren for TV47 from the Old Town area in Mombasa County.
Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga has vowed to prioritize the interests of farmers if he clinches the presidency in the August polls. Addressing Trans Nzoia residents, the Azimio One Kenya flag bearer has vowed to ban imports and promote local farming. Lucky Heriano reports.
The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya caravan traversed through Kiambu, Trans Nzoia and Bungoma counties for a vote hunting mission. The Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga vowed to better the lives of farmers in the region by ensuring affordable farm inputs and market for their produce if elected president.
Sema na yuko katika manifesto ya Azimio, tutaimarisha ukulima katika taifa letu ili nchi yetu iwe iko na chakula ya kutosha kulisha watu wetu na wengine tunapeleka ngambo, sio? Kwa hivyo hapa kwa mfano wale wakulima wa mahindi watapata msaada kwa upande wa vifaa vya kilimo, kwa upande ya mbegu, kwa upande ya mbolea na kwa upande ya soko.
Raila promised to create jobs for the unemployed youth, urging the IEBC to conduct free and fair elections.
Mimi nikitazama hapa naona wengi ambaye hawana kazi. Ni kweli au si kweli? Sisi pia tuko na shida hiyo. Na kuna jamaa ambaye leo anataka urais. Miaka 10 wametuvunjia uchumi wetu pwani.
On the presidential debate set for 26th of this month, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Secretary General Junet Mohammed said Raila will appear for the debate if only integrity, corruption and governance issues are top on the agenda.
Atakuwa debate. Na hiyo ni maoni yangu, sio maoni ya baba. Atakuwa kwa hiyo debate kama watu wataongea juu ya mambo matatu peke yake. Kama wataongea mambo integrity, mambo ya corruption na mambo ya governance.
Other leaders present slammed the DP Ruto's bottom-up economic model, terming it dead on arrival.
Juzi William Ruto alisema akichukua uongozi, nyinyi Waluhya ambao mko hapa mtarudi kule Kakamega na kule Vihiga kwa Busia. Hiyo itawezekana kweli?
Meanwhile, Azimio la Umoja running mate Martha Karua traversed Mount Kenya region, urging leaders in the area to embrace zoning to ensure voters are not split.
Iko viti tuko na watu 3 au 4 wa vyama vya Azimio. Tukienda tumegawanyika namna hiyo ni kama kupigia wapinzani kura. Mimi nataka tumepatia hawa makandidati wetu siku 2 tu wakae chini, wakule kiapo mtu mmoja awachwe.
Meanwhile, Kenyans in the diaspora have thrown their weight behind the Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga, vowing to vote him in August polls. Lucky Heriano reporting for TV47.
Also tonight, Wiper Democratic Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka now says the arrest of Venezuelan nationals in possession of IEBC materials is a red flag over a possible election rigging plan. Now, speaking in Kajiado County, Kalonzo expressed confidence in IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, urging the commission to curb any loopholes that can create doubt among Kenyans on the process credibility.
Tumesikia kwamba mtu anatoka Venezuela anabeba IEBC stickers, yani ambeko kwa mfuko wake. Unaelewa? Mtu kutoka Venezuela kwa ndege, yani kumaanisha ikiwa ni mtu kama huyo akiruhusiwa anaweza kuweka sticker yake kwa sanduku hapa, amechukua hapa Kitengela sokoni na kuweka IEBC, alafu anaweka kura zake pale. Hiyo si ni wizi? Si ni wizi? Tutakuwa macho, hatutalala. And we want our friends in IEBC kuwajibika. Tunawapa heshima. Mimi binafsi, I have confidence in Chebukati. I know him. Ingawaji saa ingine hujui kama anacheka ama anakasirika. Unaona? But we want him to deliver. We want Chebukati and his team to deliver for once. I say for once.
Demokrasia iko hapa Kajiado. Ndani ya Azimio tuko na mheshimiwa Lenku kama gavana. Nasikia Jubilee pia ndani ya Azimio wako na candidate wao. Na hiyo ndio demokrasia ambayo tunataka Kenya. Na kwa sababu party leader yangu Mheshimiwa Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka amesema ni Lenku, pia mimi nanyenyekea vijana. Pia mimi nanyenyekea na nawapigia magoti vijana wa Kitengela Kajiado County, tafadhalini. Huyu mheshimiwa Lenku namjua, tulichaguliwa kama gavana pamoja. Yeye ni
Moving on, Nairobi Regional Commissioner Kanyede Dhuku has assured Nairobi residents of their security, saying the government has put in place measures that will ensure their safety before, during and after the elections. Now, according to Dhuku, the Nairobi Regional Security Committee, the vote counting and tallying process will be well secured, vowing to ensure a peaceful election. Paul Kirubi has that report.
With only 17 days to go to the August 9th general election, the police service has assured Kenyans of their security before, during and after the next general election. The Security Committee in Nairobi County met to deliberate on how they will handle the heavy task ahead of them. Nairobi Regional Commissioner Kanyede Dhuku has assured Nairobians of a peaceful elections.
We have enough officers to deploy to all the polling stations. And for record, we have 36 to 43 polling stations and also 2493 polling centers. Let me say something about that. Every polling station, what we used to call stream within a polling center, we are going to be deploying at least 2 police officers. But you find that in some of these polling centers, which are 2493, they have more than one, or they have several polling stations. So we are saying that in polling centers, we'll have adequate police officers deployed.
In a meeting that lasted more than 1 hour, the committee deliberated, among other issues, the key hotspot areas that are likely to experience tension and violence.
Again, we have 17 constituency tallying centers. We will be deploying officers there, police officers in the tallying centers. We have also one county tallying center. Will be employing police officers there. And of course, there is also the national tallying center. We also have a little bit of mandate in conjunction with the National Police Service.
Kanyede has warned those propagating hate speech and violence that their days are numbered.
So long as it does not interfere with the security of the polling centers, the polling stations and the tallying centers, that is what we are saying. So long as it does not interfere, then as they can do what they want. But for us, we know IEBC is the one which has mandate. We have the money to give coverage in terms of security to IEBC in the conduct of that constitutional mandate.
Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the Council of Governors, in partnership with the United Nations, have today launched the assessment of the impact of devolution on women and girls report. The stakeholders have reiterated the need for gender parity and inclusion of women in decision making. Chepto Boyd with the details.
The Council of Governors, in partnership with the United Nations, have today launched their assessment